The Couple Next Door, written by Peg Lynch and starring Peg Lynch and Alan Bunce.
Well, Mr. Dibble, he can't come to the phone right now. He's already late to work, and he's looking for the car keys, as usual. Hold on then. Dear?
No, they're not in my other suit.
It's Mr. Dibble, and he says it's important.
Honestly, here, send this suit to the dry cleaners today, will you? Thought maybe I left the keys in this since I changed suits, but they're not here.
Well, look...
Well, I'll go look on the desk again.
It's Mr. Dibble, and he says a bird has built its nest in our new house.
What? What?
A bird has built a nest in our new house under the rough stairway or something, and the workmen don't know what to do about it.
Well, for Pete's sake, if they don't know what to do about it, how should I know what to do about it? Look, the car keys aren't here.
Mr. Dibble wants to know...
Oh, Mr. Dibble, why doesn't Mr. Dibble get busy and get our house finished instead of calling me every 2 minutes about things that don't matter at all? Golly, haven't we got enough problems instead of worrying about birds' nests now? What am I supposed to do about it?
I don't know, dear, but I wish you'd talk to him because it has something to do... Well, I don't know, but until the carpenters get something done, the subcontractor for the plumbing can't even start, and the mason can't begin until the electrical contractor does something, and he's mad because the siding isn't finished, and he has another job, and unless the siding gets done by this week...
Well, why isn't the siding done?
Well,
Mr. Dibble was to have our house finished by September 1st.
Well, get on the phone and talk.
Oh, I can't talk about it now. Look, I've got to get to the office. Where are the car keys?
It all has to do with the bird's nest, dear, right now.
What?
The workmen don't want to bother the bird. Well, don't just stare at me. The bird has built its nest in our house.
Yeah, I got that, yes.
Well, there are eggs in the nest.
So?
So the workmen don't want to bother it. The bird has built her nest right where they're supposed to work.
Well, why can't they take the nest away?
They don't want to do that. They say if you move a bird's nest, the mother bird might not be able to find it again, and then she'll be upset.
She'll be upset. The bird will be upset. What about me? Look, that house is costing us a small fortune already. Do you realize that? I can't afford a day's delay. Now, look, tell them to get to work.
Well, I guess the workmen are all bird lovers, dear, and they don't want to do...
You tell Mr. Dibble that I'm coming out there. Tell him I am coming out there as soon as I find the car keys.
They don't run a clipping service, but they're cutting up all the time. If you haven't guessed it already, we're talking about Amos and Andy and the Robert Q. Lewis gang, whose entertaining antics are heard 6 days a week on most of these same stations. Music, comedy, and famous visitors keep things humming at our Amos and Andy Music Hall. You never know who'll drop by for the fun and the excitement, and you never know what new fix the Kingfish will inveigle Amos and Andy into. But you can count on a good time every time you hear this light-hearted variety show on CBS Radio. And this week, Jim Backus is in charge of the doings on CBS Radio's Robert Q. Lewis show. As vacation time host, he'll follow Bob's instructions to keep you entertained every minute of the time. For songs by Judy Johnson and Richard Hayes, music by Ray Bloch's orchestra, and comedy unlimited by Jim Backus and guest stars, too. Don't miss tonight's frolicsome edition of CBS Radio's Robert Q. Lewis Show.
Yep. Well, that's a problem. Now, if you look up under there, you can see the nest.
Yes, I can see the nest. But
yes.
What I don't understand is why all this fuss is being made over it, Mr. Dibble.
You mean you're a man, doesn't have any feeling for birds?
Well, no. I mean, yes, certainly. I mean, I like birds as well as the next guy. But
Ever since I was a boy, I had a real strong feeling for birds.
Look, I like birds, too, Mr. Dibble, but as I say...
Worst thing in the world, moving a nest.
Well, yes, I mean, I guess it isn't very nice, but look here, Mr. Dibble, when you took this job as general contractor, you assured me the house would be finished by September 1st.
Well, in the building business, you got to allow for unforeseen circumstances. I mean, certain things you can't predict. Who'd ever thought half the carpenters would come down with the mumps?
Well, that's true, dear, and I'm afraid they got mumps from Mary Lou that day she was out here with Betsy and drank out of their drinking cup.
Yes, I know, but...
Well, the same thing with a bird building a nest. I mean, that's the way it goes.
All right, I'll grant you that's the way it goes,
and
but
when you got a feeling for birds...
Well, I've got a feeling for birds, too, Mr. Dibble, but I've also got a feeling for my bank balance.
Oh, sure, money isn't everything.
Well, by golly, it's just about everything when you're building a house.
Dear, now, let's not get excited.
I am not getting excited. Just look at those workmen sitting over there. Would you not doing a lick of work?
Well, they're sort of waiting for the mother.
Waiting for their mother?
No. What I mean is waiting for the mother bird to come back.
Oh.
Now, look, Mr. Dibble, this is positively ridiculous.
You see, this morning, we all came out here, started work, apparently scared mother off. Nobody wants to start hammering and pounding until she gets back.
Well, are they going to start work when she gets back?
Oh, no. That'd scare her off again.
What are you planning to do?
Well, I don't know. I mean, that's why I called you. I don't want responsibility myself.
Responsibility for what?
Well, if you say so, we can move the nest and get on with the work.
Well, I most certainly say so, and I'll be glad to take the responsibility. Now, move the nest and get those men to work.
Realize there's 5 eggs in that nest. Mother bird may not find the nest if we move it. Probably won't. Those little eggs won't hatch. 5 little birds won't ever see the light of day. Same thing as killing them.
Oh, honey, it does seem terrible.
5 little birds won't ever know the joy of spreading their wings, flying through the blue sky, sitting on a tree branch, singing their little song.
Well, I will...
Of course, it's your house. I mean, if you want responsibility. But I tell you this, workmen gonna be pretty upset. Pete over there, he's the one spotted the nest. Well, he yelled at us. We all come running. We ought to sort of felt like that bird was one of us.
Well, look, Mr. Dibble, I understand your sentiment regarding it. I do, in a way, but
Well, I ought to tell you this. You move that nest, men aren't going to like it. Cruel thing to do. Just like tying a tin can to a dog's tail, only this would be worse. Good as a death sentence to those little fledglings.
Why does this sort of thing always happen to me?
Well, dear, it's nobody's fault.
10,000 trees in this town, probably 1 million trees, and that bird's got to pick my new house to build her nest in.
Not dear.
That's the way it goes. Because if you want the nest moved, you're the boss. But I don't know, maybe you ought to get the feeling of the men. I mean, they're the ones building your house. Pete, Farini, come here.
Look, Mr. Dibble, while I appreciate the sentiments of the workmen, I do, and I sympathize and all that, I cannot afford. I mean, this whole thing, it's just fantastic.
Pete, this is Pete Farini, Mr. and Mrs. Piper.
Oh, how do you do, Mr.
Pete, maybe you could tell the Pipers how you feel about moving the nest.
Moving the nest?
Yep.
You ain't thinking of moving that nest.
Well, I...
There's eggs in that nest.
Yes, I know.
That bird is going to be a mother.
Yes,
You a mother?
No.
You lady, you a mother?
Well, yes, I am. We have 2 children. That's my little girl that's been out here with me.
Well, then, do you know what it's like?
Well, yes.
Well, how would you like it if your house was just pick up and move someplace else and you couldn't find your little babies?
Well, not very well, I can't.
Look, I think this is just a little bit different.
Why?
Well, a bird is certainly different from a human being.
It certainly is. A bird can be more of a friend than a human being.
Look, that may well be, but...
You know what's going to happen if you move that nest?
Yes, I do. I have been informed by Mr. Dibble that the mother bird may not find the nest again, and then the eggs won't get hatched. However...
You want that on your conscience? I sure wouldn't. No, sir.
Well,
what kind of a bird is it?
Well, we think it's a goldfinch. The bird flew off, I guess, when we got here. We scared her away.
And we've been trying to be quiet so she comes back.
Yeah, well, look, thank you. Thank you very much for all your interest. And as I said to Mr. Dibble, I appreciate and sympathize, but I cannot afford even a day's unnecessary delay. I mean, surely you can recognize the cost of building a house. And I mean, already...
It seems to me that being kind to animals is more important than money.
That nest is going to be moved.
I say one thing more. You ain't going to be very popular with the rest of the fellas around here.
All right. Oh, that's enough. I'll talk to Mr. Piper.
I will talk to you, Mr. Dibble, and what I have to say...
Darling, dear, may I make a suggestion?
There's nothing else I can do but have that nest moved, don't you understand?
I know, but why don't we call the Humane Society or a bird club or something, and maybe they will know better how to move the nest so the mother bird will find it.
Oh, look what happens. Half a day, maybe a whole day will be lost phoning around, finding some authority on birds.
Come here, listen. You don't want the workmen all mad at you. And look at them over there. They're in little groups, mumbling and looking over here and glowering at you already. You want the work well done on the house, and if they don't like you, dear, you know.
I think the missus has a good idea. I say call the Humane Society. I can do it right now and see what they have to say.
All right, I give up. All right, call the Humane Society.
Yes, there it is, the father. See the little yellow goldfinch on the branch?
Oh, yes, that's the father, Mr. Gillis?
Oh, yes, I'm sure of it. You can see the state of excitement.
Oh, yes.
Yellow with black wings and tail and a little tuft of black on his head. The mother, I'm sorry to say I can't see, but she's sure to be nearby.
Well, the problem, Mr. Gilly, if you don't mind, is how to move the nest. And I appreciate your coming all the way out.
Oh,
here.
not at all. That's what the Humane Society is for.
Well, thank you.
And in any case, it's very interesting. August 19th now. think of it.
Yeah. I beg your pardon?
Well, that is very late for building a nest. I know of several cases where a goldfinch has built a nest in the first week of August, but rarely as late as the third week.
Yeah, but the point is, how do we move it safely?
There's the mother bird. You see?
Where,
Much
where?
duller yellow, without the black cap. There on the blue spruce, you see?
Yep. Here she is. Hey, Jeffrey. Man, the mother bird is back.
Stay back. Quiet, everybody.
I don't know.
Yes. There she goes, right to her nest.
Oh, isn't that wonderful? Look at that, dear.
Hey, that's something. As she sits so pretty as you please.
Yeah, there's the father bird flying around.
I don't know
Listen
what's going
to
on.
him. Purr chickaree. Purr chickaree. Oh, the goldfinch has really one of the loveliest of all bird songs.
Yes, I'm sure. Mr. Gilly, do you mind? How do we go about moving the nest?
Moving the nest. My dear man, you can't possibly move the nest until the eggs hatch, which will be about 21 days.
21 days?
Well, it's hard to judge exactly, not knowing when they were laid.
21 days?
Naturally, I realize the inconvenience.
Look, I gotta get this house finished. We've sold the one we're living in, and anyhow, look, I couldn't possibly afford such a
Any
delay.
disturbance of the nest or any noise, pounding and hammering, I can say positively, would be fatal.
And I tell you this. I quit a job before I take a chance of hurting that bird and them little babies.
Well, guess you know how I feel about it.
As a member of the Humane Society, Mr. Piper, I cannot forbid you to move that nest, but I can assure you that if you do so, we are in a position to take drastic action. I might add, Mr. Piper, that public opinion will be on our side. People take a very dim view of the kind of man who would move a bird's nest.
21 days.
Suspense. Yours truly, Johnny Dollar, FBI and Peace and War, Indictment, and Gunsmoke. All of these exciting dramatic shows come to you Sunday after Sunday on CBS Radio, and every one of them is a winner. If you like stories packed with action, make a beeline for CBS Radio's Sunday lineup of dramatic shows. Tense psychological dramas are always waiting for you on Suspense. Yours truly, Johnny Dollar, flirts with danger and sometimes with dangerous women, too, to get to the bottom of insurance fraud cases. CBS Radio's FBI and Peace and War takes you along on a manhunt every Sunday. And Indictment tells a realistic story of the law in action. Later, Gunsmoke takes you to the frontier for adult Western adventure. For a change of pace from your own routine, join us on most of these same stations every Sunday as CBS Radio raises the curtain on Suspense. Yours truly, Johnny Dollar, FBI and Peace and War, and Gunsmoke. 3 solid hours of action. The Couple Next Door is written by Peg Lynch and stars Peg Lynch and Alan Bunce with John Shelley, Arnie Freeman, and Nelson Olmsted, and is produced by Walter Hart. This is Stuart Metz, inviting you to listen again tomorrow for The Couple Next Door.